Welcome back to Lost Legacies. I'm Matt.
And I'm Sam.
I always forget. A Hidden City Book Company production.
See, every time I say it, you're like, yeah. And then
Well,
you keep going. I'm like, how come you're the only one that gets to say it?
I think that was just because, I was at that time, I was planning, oh, we'll say that at the end, kind of like at the R, this has been NPR, this has been a Hidden City book, blah, blah, blah. But by that time, I've already forgotten. So it just never works. I'm like,
nobody listens to the end.
Yeah, probably not. Oh, well. That's where we keep all the clues hidden for the like Taylor Swift style. We have all these clues in our episode titles that are gonna hint at the next show we watch and when's that gonna drop. And it has to do with the moon aligning and the certain time of year, but also based on the color of our ex/rival podcast. What color their sweater was. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, the Dead Poets Department or whatever.
Yeah. Found history? I don't know. What would they be called?
Well, what's it's the opposite of a legacy?
A never was.
Found never was's. That's our rival podcast.
As a kid, I always remember that guy, the bad guy from the Mighty Ducks. You're less than a has-been, Bombay. You're a never was.
Man, dang.
Who's that actor? Yeah. Was that guy the dad from the Wonder Years?
Was it?
Maybe. I don't remember. I'll have to look it up.
Yeah.
So, I don't have a segue. Speaking of wondrous years, you were talking to me earlier about the new show you're binging with your wife. Would you care to share with the audience?
Oh, hang on now. Hang on. I even told you explicitly that I didn't want to talk about that.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Did I just block that out?
Yeah, I think so.
I thought, ooh, content.
Oh, great.
Okay,
well, now that we're content farming, because I guess that's what we do here now at Found Never Was's.
Yeah, we do it for the likes.
In the Dead Poets Department. Yeah, so look, y'all, I had an itch I couldn't scratch. Creative wise, viewing wise. And I just had to hunker down, and I was like, all right, we're gonna watch Firefly.
Nice.
And so now the whole, I mean, hey, we've been canceled already, so I guess might as well just go out there, start burning things to the ground now, and just you know what, fine. Here I am watching and enjoying, to a point, Firefly in the year of our Lord 2024, okay?
But you've already watched before, so this is a rewatch for you.
Yeah, this is a rewatch for me. My wife Kat hasn't seen it, although she keeps saying that she's seen Serenity, but then I don't think she has.
Ooh, are you calling your wife a liar?
I'm not calling
public podcast.
I'm not calling my wife a liar, but I ain't calling her a truther either.
Wow.
So, I think because she said she has, but she's never seen the show. So I don't know. And it was probably things she saw it once, and
yeah.
Been a thing of oh yeah, I saw that, and that's it. So, because then we've been watching the show, and she's just like, oh wow, yeah, I didn't know anything about this. So I was like, oh, cool. So,
well, you'll have to let us know. Keep us updated.
I guess. Thanks a lot, Matt. What kind of problematic stuff can I out you for?
Jeez, wow. I feel like I outed my brother or something.
You did.
He's watching Firefly. He's watching Firefly.
Uh-huh.
Look. Nobody cares.
Yeah, yeah.
Dotson, we've got Dotson here.
I'm sure, Dan is probably just like, why? I think Firefly is fine,
I
you
don't know.
know?
Yeah.
And yeah, so okay, Dan, I'm sorry. Just for the other potential people who hop on, when we're watching Dark or any other specials, or people from the future who are coming and listening to this historical document, you know, they're gonna cancel me retroactively, be like, oh,
Oh
I was
man.
enjoying listening to the historical records of
Mm-hmm.
those good guys, at those good ones at Lost Legacies, but
Yeah.
not anymore. Sam's canceled.
Oh geez. Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of which, as of recording this, I haven't finished editing our special bonus episode,
Oh,
so I
okay.
don't know how it's going. But I'm really enjoying it. As far as I've gotten so far, I was like, and this is part of the reason why I was glad we said, we're just gonna air it, because I'm listening to it.
Mhm.
And I'm like, man, this is really solid. Like, I'm enjoying this, at least up to this point where I've edited. So
Yeah.
we'll see. I might eat my words later. Um, yeah, man. Yeah. Um, it's interesting, because, like, on the topic of Firefly, like, not just that show, but there's a lot of stuff I would like to talk about. But, for whatever reason, we don't want to really discuss the showrunner or certain part or certain person involved with whatever production.
Hmm.
And that's tough, especially when you're talking about like high level showrunners.
Hmm.
That's kind of the main reason, like, why we haven't watched The Nevers, which is like, it's, I want to say, just a total of 12 episodes. You
Yeah.
know, but although I think I could easily justify that for certain reasons that we won't get into, right now. But I think that's a hell of a good show to watch, and maybe one day we'll get to it. Maybe not. Who knows?
Yeah.
But especially now that it's completely like wiped off the internet, you
Yeah.
know, it like that show really fits more in line with the concept of Lost Legacies than like Firefly does, you know, because
Yeah, for sure.
even then, like, Firefly is definitely like considered like a cult classic. It's just like, it has a big fandom. It just kind of came late.
Yeah, I would say like anytime before the movie, I think it would be cult status.
Mm-hmm.
But once the movie came out, I think that that's kind of it. That's kind of the nail in the coffin. At least like from my perspective,
Yeah.
because it's one of those things that like there's not that many episodes, but
Mm-hmm.
you still got a feature film out of it, and I feel like there's still a huge fandom, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
for that series. And they keep coming out with comics and tie-in books and all that stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
so I definitely don't consider it truly like a cult thing anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd
Um,
I'd say I'd say something that's like a cult that has like a cult following would be like Dark Matter or Killjoys.
oh,
You know?
and even then, it's a small cult.
Exactly. Well, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
that's the point though. That's the point of it, is that it's
Yeah.
not it's not huge. Like there's no that's like trying to say like Stargate is a cult classic series, It's
That's
like I think
true. That's pretty
Universe
big. Yeah.
Stargate Universe would be the cult classic amongst that, but like
Yeah.
those are big. Those are huge.
So, like, Killjoys, it's a cult
Yeah.
of one, which is me.
Is you?
I've never talked to anyone else who has seen that show.
Yeah.
Um, and I
Well, I sent
I
you I
I
sent you
never
that
finished it.
article that the
Hmm.
website formerly known as Tor.com, I think it's Reactor now.
Oh wow.
Uh yeah, they somebody, I forget who it was, but somebody wrote up an article, 10 sci-fi shows that deserve a bigger fandom.
Yeah.
And the very last one on that list was Killjoys. And I
Killjoys.
was like, gotta send it to Matt.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. I never finished it. That's one of those ones too. Like, it's good and bad. um finding new stuff because I'm thinking like, ooh, is this gonna make good content for Lost Legacies?
Oh
Because we
gosh.
talked about watching Killjoys.
Hmm.
Um and I want to say, I don't know, it's probably like 75 episodes. So it's not lost long, but it's still an endeavor, you know?
Hmm. Longer than dark, so
Yeah, for sure. So, and again, that's one like you can't find online. You would have to buy it somewhere. Like it's not
yeah.
streaming. Um, unless there's, I don't know, Tubi or something. It's one of those streaming platforms where like it's like $60 a month. So
Mm.
it's one of those pricey ones. But
Wait, is it on Tubi? Because you can watch stuff for free.
okay, then it's not Tubi. I don't
Oh,
know.
okay.
Fubu. Is Fubu a thing? I don't know.
Tofu.
Yeah, there's all these weird ones, but there's whatever one it is, it's like $60 a month. I was like, dude, I'm not paying that.
Dang.
I'd rather just buy the seasons.
$60 a month? Gosh,
Yeah, dude, like it's crazy.
that's insane.
I don't even know what you get. It sounds like a lot though.
Mm.
But yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I would rather just like buy those seasons.
Mm.
I don't know if they're still on the Apple store though. I'd have to check. I know Strike Back, you can't find it anywhere. You can't find it. It's not streaming. It was Cinemax. And even though Cinemax still has stuff out there through HBO and Amazon, whatever, you can't
Hmm.
find Strike Back
That's
anywhere.
so weird.
And even the Apple store, they've
Hmm.
taken it down.
Why?
I was like, I don't know. I have no idea.
That's that's crazy.
It's crazy. Like you could watch Banshee, you can watch Warrior, whatever else they shows they have, like through other streaming services if you get the Cinemax subscription.
Hmm.
No strike back.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't like
I
that.
own one of the seasons on Blu-ray, so like you have to find the Blu-rays.
Mm.
So that's a bummer, man. But yeah, so constantly when I find a show like or like Killjoy, something I had already watched, but I never watched the fifth and final season. I'm like, this would be something to watch with Sam because although I did like Killjoys, it's it's very I don't know, convoluted maybe.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's like there's so much like story and stuff in there like if Sam asked me what is Killjoys
Hmm.
about?
Okay. Matt,
Mhm.
what is Killjoys about?
I have no freaking clue, man. It's about space bounty hunters. That's about it. You know,
Okay.
like the whole overall plot is so damn confusing, but also rad. Like it's really it was like this chunk of time on the Sci-Fi network where like they could just do whatever they want, you know? It's a
Mm.
Canadian sci-fi as well. So it
Hmm.
was
Hmm.
Killjoys, it was Dark Matter,
Hmm.
and I want to say The Expanse. I think there was an overlap somewhere in there where
Yeah.
they were like, if not all three, at least two of them were on at the same time. Because I know
Yeah.
I was watching Dark Matter and Killjoys at the same time, and I do know there's a lot of actors in Killjoys who show up in The Expanse as side characters. So I'm like,
Mm.
okay, all right, this is interesting.
That's pretty cool.
Um,
I think like I think if you want to add a fourth one, I think Vagrant Queen was around. It was
that
a
was
little I think it was already after all three of those shows were like well into like their third season or
no, they
something.
were done. It was over by
Really?
then. Yeah, it was only
Oh
one season
wow.
of Vagrant Queen, and like
Well
I
yeah.
was looking for something sci-fi to watch. That's how I remember it. But
Mm.
no, like Dark Matter got canceled after season three. Somehow they let Killjoys end on its own. They're like, okay, 5 seasons, go for it,
Yeah.
which is nuts. You know, I was like, wow, cool.
I think yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's crazy.
Yeah,
And it's like, yeah. I know we get a little glib, when we start talking about like, well, you want to talk about a lost legacy.
yeah.
But no, like that is kind of something that I feel like we're kind of missing right now. We're missing like the fun sci-fi shows,
Hmm.
you know? And in an era where, we've got hundreds of streaming services, I know that a lot of stuff can get lost between the cracks, but I feel like a lot of things are trying to focus more on like hyper focused dramatic series now.
Prestige
That
television.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that's kind of the point. That's what everybody's trying to get at. I mean, they're doing that with Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Yeah.
Like every new press release that the showrunners are doing, they're just talking about things that they've removed from the show,
Hmm.
or like we've changed it in this way so that it can appeal more to Game of Thrones fans. And I'm like, I don't want a Game of Thrones. I want Avatar.
Yeah.
I don't know what's so hard about this.
Yeah.
Like yeah, so it's just really strange. And like the Expanse, the Expanse came from that era, and then kind of it did get to go out technically on its own terms,
Hmm.
with the last season. I mean, hell, like they partnered with Amazon for the final three seasons. So like
Hmm.
so
And
far.
and to me, that felt like prestige ish, especially
Yeah.
compared to where they went. Because even before the first three seasons, yeah, that was Sci-Fi Network, but that was like really, really like upper class sci-fi.
Yeah.
It's because Sci-Fi didn't make it. It was again, that list you sent me talked a lot about Canadian science fiction, and a lot
Yeah.
of those shows on that list were Canadian. Killjoys, Dark Matter is Canadian,
Hmm.
Expanse, and yeah, but then those final three seasons, you're like, oh man, this feels like prestige television. It just wasn't really marketed. They didn't really put a lot of money into the marketing.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, surprisingly, they were able to end it, quote unquote, end it on their terms. I'm still waiting, man. I'm waiting for more. I don't know.
Yeah.
Don't make us wait 30 years.
If I have to, I'll hold out for 30 more
Oh
years, guys.
man, yeah.
The Expanse
So
guys, you heard it here first. I will hold out for 30 years.
yeah. So
That'll be my reason to keep going.
listeners, just so you know, there is in the place where the series ends and in the books, there's a very very large time jump in the series.
Hmm.
So although the Expanse ended with season 6, there's a lot of rumors and a lot of talk. Even once they announced that it was the final season, there's a lot of talk saying like, "Oh, this isn't actually the end." Because there's that like 30-year time jump. So everyone's saying like, well, when is the Expanse coming back? How long? It's only been what, a few years?
Yeah.
um Nowhere near 30. But yeah, and then even the way the showrunners were talking about it, they specifically said every time, this is our final season on Amazon.
Yeah.
It was rare if they said this is our final season. It was always on Amazon.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think they're kind of waiting for the cast and everyone to age up a little bit. Uh,
Hmm.
yeah, I don't know.
10 years. Give it 10 years.
Well, I was gonna say like 10 years from the first season, like that would be a cool like jumping on point, and you could change the story so the time gap isn't as big, but then you could still use your makeup and stuff to age them up a little bit, just to kind of
Mm.
cut that time down. I
Yeah.
think that would
Yeah.
probably make sense.
I don't know. We'll see.
I don't know. So, speak about cults and stuff, cult followings. I'm curious on like the fandom of Dark. Like, I don't know what that is,
Yeah.
because there are people like online and stuff who love the show, but like, I I haven't seen it like actual fandom. Like, what are they called? Dark heads,
I was just about to say that.
Winded Knights,
Wait, what?
Winded Knights.
Windonites?
Yeah,
That's actually kind of
or
cool.
Windonians,
Windonians. Windies.
Windies. Oh man,
You have to wear Jonas's, like yellow jacket, so that we
right?
so that we know that you're in the fandom,
Yeah, yeah.
or you just wear the little like red string with the little silver coin at the end of it. So like, oh,
Yeah.
I see you're a Windonite, aren't you?
Oh God. Hmm. Well, let's get into it. Because I've been having fun with it, I didn't do the write up, so I'm gonna make it up on the spot.
Oh,
We're
great.
talking about Dark, season 2, episode 5, Lost and Found.
Mm.
In 1987, Ulrich tries to kidnap his kid. The kids take the time machine back to the time cave to go back in time. And Jonas receives future advice from himself.
Time advice?
Time advice. Yep.
What was the thing we said earlier? Time
Temporal depression.
temporal depression?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, first off, like first reactions.
Well, right out of the gate, we started off strong. We were like, oh, okay, cool. Like, same, you know, kind of sexy memory dream that
Oh,
Jonas
that's
and
right.
Marta are having.
Mm-hmm.
Except this time, it's older Jonas
Mm-hmm.
and Marta. And I was like, whoa, this is,
That's a little weird, but
that's pretty steamy.
yeah, it kind of makes sense for him because that's the Martha he remembers, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So, yeah,
Also because like everybody he knows is dead in
yeah.
2 days. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and assumingly he hasn't met anybody who survived outside of Elizabeth.
Oh,
So
that's true. Yeah.
yeah, so it's just kind of, so yes, I understand that. But yeah, I was just pretty shocked. And again, he wakes up in a sweat, in his bed. I'm like, dang it, nobody in this town is sleeping. See, that's why everybody's so secretive. Everybody's so secretive because we're all not sleeping. We're
Mm-hmm.
having bad dreams. We're having weird time sex dreams,
Yeah,
you
man.
know?
Yeah. As far as the sex dreams goes, the time ones are the worst.
The time, yeah, exactly. The time ones suck. Uh yeah, no, this was crazy. This it feels like not a lot happened, but
Mm-hmm.
we're getting closer we're getting closer to the end of the season. You can feel it like
Yeah.
start to ramp up here.
This one was definitely, I felt, slower paced, but
Hmm.
a lot of just a lot of information was being processed and
Yeah,
passed
yeah.
along. I think we talked about this earlier in the season. I don't remember, or maybe it was last season, but like it felt like this episode was just doing the next steps. Like, okay, this isn't really a big chapter. We just need to get from point A to C, so we're going to show you B. You know,
Hmm. Hmm.
regarding everyone, there was a few things contrary to that, but like the whole talk between Jonas and Adam, that's all they had. They spread that one conversation throughout the whole episode. You
Yeah.
know, and then the kids. Okay, finally, it feels like this is something we kind of just have to get out of the way. They go back to Bartosh. He shows them how the machine works. They go back in time. Okay, we've already seen this journey through Jonas's eyes, you know?
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, so now it's just like we kind of have to just get these kids on this path, for whatever happens next.
Yeah.
Um, Now we've also seen this from Ulrich's perspective, so things like that. Nothing inherently new, but it was just continuing. The big things I'll say throughout this episode, I think the big one was Ulrich, old man Ulrich,
Yeah.
escaping the hospital and finding Mikhail.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Man, what a reunion,
Yeah. And
you
again,
know.
shout out to the casting. This
Hmm.
man, like I believe this is Ulrich.
Yeah. Yeah.
So good. Oh man. Poor Mikhail, dude.
I know.
And I guess Enos is like drugging him, helping him sleep. I'm also
But even then, it's like she's stealing it from the hospital,
yeah.
and she
I
even hesitated putting it in this drink.
I
Like,
I think it's probably yeah helping him sleep more, but also to kind of like sedate him a little bit,
for
just so
sure.
like he's not afraid or concerned or worried about that stuff, you know,
Yeah.
because she's very much like, hey, the past doesn't matter, you
Hmm.
know, it's all about now going forward. So she'd rather he just forget that stuff, and he's like, he can't, man.
Yeah.
Especially after this episode when he realizes like this is his dad, and I'm like, oh,
Yeah. This is, gosh. Yeah. No, this is.
it's so heartbreaking for Yorick. It's like, dude, you did this to
Hmm.
yourself, man. You tried to murder a kid, but at the
Yeah.
same time, it's like, one, he failed, and I think I've asked this before. Since he failed, when is it enough? When is his punishment enough? You know,
Hmm.
he's been in that institute for 33 years.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, man, I don't know. And then after this episode and not working, it's like,
Hmm. And it sucks too because he also sees Marta and Magnus
yeah,
as he's being taken away.
yeah,
And God, you just like, man, this is also Yorick's worst day. You
yeah,
know?
yeah. This is the nightmarish side of time travel, you know?
Hmm. Yeah. And I'm sure to everybody else, they probably just think, oh, that's just a crazy guy.
Mm-hmm.
All these cops, like, this is just a crazy guy who thinks that every kid he sees is his
I love
kid.
that because it cuts. You see him looking outside, and then it cuts almost from the cop's perspective. The camera's looking back at Yorick. He's like, "Those are my kids, Martha, Magnus, blah blah blah." And you're like,
Hmm.
"Yeah, man, this guy's already—he's nuts." You know,
Yeah.
why would they believe him?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
Egon is the only one who would probably have any kind of has any kind of clue what's going on, you
hmm
know, and he just stops it. Like he doesn't have enough. He hasn't put the pieces together yet, you know, and it's at this point it's kind of like even if he does, it's too little, too late.
hmm
It's like does he believe this now? The time travel? Like he's putting the pieces together and he talks to Yorick about it, you know?
hmm
And like he knows that Yorick says Mikhail is his son.
hmm
So I don't know, man. But then
See,
again, he also has stuff on his plate too.
yeah. Yeah. And see, it's kind of like I don't think I don't know that I don't know that he's like fully put it together, but I think also it's like if it involves Yorick, I don't think he cares. You
Right.
know?
Hmm.
It's like he's trying to put to bed this mystery to sort of ease his own conscience,
Yeah.
not for justice, not to satisfy his curiosity.
Hmm.
It's like he can't rest until he solves this mystery,
Yeah.
but yeah, it just, yeah. So, uh, yeah, let can we can we just talk about the plan?
The
Can we just
plan.
can we just talk about Adam and Jonas's plan?
Oh yeah, this is very interesting.
This is very interesting.
We got a lot of info this episode.
Yeah, yeah. It's just like it's strange because I feel like we sort of we sort of took a long time this episode to get to the point of Adam and Jonas's conversation,
Hmm.
which is essentially which is essentially all of this has happened before and all this will happen again,
Ooh, yeah.
but it doesn't have to.
Uh-huh. Very Battlestar.
Very Battlestar. And it's sort of this thing where it's like Jonas is going to grow up into this thing that at this point he hates.
Hmm.
We all turn into the thing we hate is sort of the conceit. But Adam's whole thing is that I'm going to give you enough information to where you can make a different choice and break the timeline
Mm-hmm.
because we now have Sigmundus's whole like thesis statement in
Mm-hmm.
that God is time,
Mm-hmm.
and that is what we are at war with. We're going to break time and we're going to create a world without time,
A
which
war on time, a
I don't
war on
know
God.
I don't know what that means. Where's the freaking doctor when you need him?
Dude, I know. I like that concept though of like the only God is time.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what they're fighting. Like it makes it so it humanizes it so much.
Mm-hmm.
It takes this big grand concept and puts it into like this human like kind of form of understanding, you
Yeah.
know? And the fact that there's time travel in this show, you're like, oh, okay, is this doable? Is this doable? You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
And,
it's crazy.
and see, like that's kind of the thing too. I'm like, I don't know if it's doable. I don't
So
like
yeah, last week we started finding out Claudia's motivations.
mhm,
Jonas said Claudia's whole thing was to uh in order to end it all, to bring the last cycle, she needs to preserve the timeline,
mhm,
keep everything the way it is. Adam's whole thing is like we have to find a way to break it, to break the timeline. So now we're
mhm,
seeing where there's these two conflicting forces,
mhm.
you know? And then there's Noah in the middle, who that's a whole other thing, who's no longer with Adam, it seems. So I'm like,
Mhm.
oh God, okay.
Mhm.
So one party wants to change the timeline, and then Claudia wants to preserve it.
Mhm. And it's kind of interesting because it's like because they're talking about what in order for all of this to be different, Jonas has to go back to the beginning.
Yeah,
But where is the beginning? And
right.
that's the real question. And it's the thing that we've talked about how like the past like obviously the past influences the future, but the future is also influencing the past.
Mm-hmm.
And we now have people who exist outside of their time, or people who exist, you know, because of this time travel stuff. So like Jonas's whole plan is to go back to the day his dad died and convince his dad not to kill himself.
Mm-hmm.
But if Michael never kills himself, then Mikhail never gets lost in the caves and never goes back to the 80s, which means Jonas is never born.
Mm-hmm. It's a paradox.
It's a paradox because then all of these other things don't happen.
See, so I wonder if that's part of it. Like it's not just about stopping this thing from happening. It's about like breaking time. Like,
Mm-hmm.
is it the actual paradox of it that is what breaks? It's not so much Michael not killing himself and starting all this stuff. It's more of the fact of of the result of Michael not killing himself leads to this paradox of
Yeah.
Jonah, you know,
Yeah.
or no Jonah. So yeah, because I mean, honestly, Jonah's a paradox to begin with. He should have never been born. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
he's a kid of time travel. It's interesting though how Adam was explaining it, the God particle, but he says the one they have uh, was manufactured. They made it themselves.
Yeah.
That's why they're able to break from the 33-year cycle, so
Mm-hmm.
Jonah can go wherever.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Hmm. Because like it's so hard. The show is like there's so much in the show. Like I'm trying to think like, is there anywhere else any way any other place in time that Jonas can go to stop it. Because I was like, well,
Yeah.
why don't you just prevent the time machine from being made in the first place?
Yeah.
But I think at the end of the day, no, it is like it's Michael Conwell killing himself that starts the whole thing.
Hmm.
Because everything is tied into Mikhail going missing.
Yeah.
Jeez. I don't know, man.
Uh
Yeah.
yeah.
This
This
is
is this is frying my brain.
yeah, man. It really like
You know,
next week's gonna be very interesting.
but before we started recording, you were talking about how your laptop updated and now the fan is just like
It's
going.
it's going off
Yeah,
constantly. Yeah.
it's going off constantly. That's how my brain feels.
That's yeah, when we talk about dark and we think about it, we're
Yeah.
like, oh my god.
Yeah. Time travel sucks.
So speaking of sucks, if Magnus and Martha just sat down and listened to their mom, things would have gone completely different.
Yep.
They didn't
Yep.
know it, but they had the time machine with them.
Mm-hmm.
She was gonna tell her. She was gonna tell. Katerina was gonna tell them about Mikhail being lost in time. You know,
Mm-hmm.
there's something I need to tell you, and like rightly so. I get they're pissed at her, and they think Bartosz is connected to something in the caves, and it has to do with everything else. So like, I see where they're coming from as well, but it's
Yeah.
just you need to communicate. You need to communicate. If I learn anything from Lost, we need to live together, or we're gonna die alone.
Wow. Wow. We haven't said that in a while.
I know.
Wow. Matthew Fox hasn't been here in a while. Welcome back, Matthew.
Mm-hmm.
Um, wow. Yeah. Yeah. No, I do get it. Um, but it's kind of also a thing too. It's like, would they have believed her?
Exactly. Probably not. They're like, "Wow, mom, you're really crazy." But then
Yeah.
as soon as they start talking to Bartosz, we're like, "You mentioned time travel." My mom was talking about time travel.
Yeah. 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 And then of course going back, that could have led a whole different other thing because it looks like they all traveled back in time and then immediately came back.
Yeah.
They saw that it was different enough, and
Yeah.
then immediately came home. If they had known that their brother was actually there, maybe it would have been different. Maybe, they would have gone try to find him.
They could
And
have caught
especially
it.
on
Like
that day,
they could have been at the caves when Mikhail was with Yurik. Like they were
that's what
all
I'm
there the
saying.
same day.
I thought they went further back, and I was like, oh
Yeah.
wow, they're going to the 50s. Like maybe they'll spring, their dad from prison. Nope.
Yeah.
Nope. Yeah. This is this is such an interesting show because I feel like, and I don't know where this comes from. Maybe it's Game of Thrones trauma, but I feel like at every point I'm like, someone's gonna die. Someone's gonna die this episode. But that's so not the show that we're watching,
Right, right, yeah.
So I think in this whole show, two people have died, and that includes, Michael at the beginning of the show.
Michael and Claudia.
Oh, three people, because there's also the guy that young Noah kills at the beginning of the season.
Oh yeah, we still don't know who that guy was. And
Yeah.
let's not forget all the kids who got killed.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. I'm sorry. I forgot the kids. Man. But they've been dead, so it's fine.
Yeah, for decades, technically.
Yeah, yeah, technically.
Hmm.
Uh wow, that's awful. Um it fits the vibe because we've been canceled. Uh yeah, I guess like the last thing I want to talk about is Charlotte's conversation with Noah,
Hmm.
who shows her a picture of him holding her as a baby.
Hmm.
So we know who at least one half of her parents are now,
Yeah.
and that sucks. I
Mm-hmm.
hated every second of that. And I'm sure she did too. But man, I when it was happening, I was pissed. And I'm still pissed. I'm still mad.
Mm-hmm.
So she was so what so what's happening? What's happening here? Like it doesn't like I thought Noah was gonna say something like she was sick and they had to like get her away so that she could live, but it doesn't sound like that.
No, what does he say?
Like you were always not you were always a fighter, but you just had like a strong will or something.
Yeah.
So it's like I guess we can infer that like maybe she was premature, maybe she was a little sickly as a baby, but she just
I think
she
he
kept
mentioned that.
persisting.
I think he mentioned that she was premature.
Yeah. Okay, okay. I thought I made that up, but okay. Um so then why is she here? And he didn't know is the thing. He didn't know
Yeah, he didn't
where
know she
she
was here.
was.
He said he was looking for her and she was here the whole time. He kept
Hmm.
saying, what did he say? Something to the fact that they weren't happy with us or something to the fact of that. Like they weren't happy with us or they weren't happy with you, something like that.
Mm.
So I'm like,
So like Sigmundus took Noah's baby, I guess.
possibly, yeah.
Yeah. How wild would it be if like oh well I guess that can't happen now anymore. Damn it. I was gonna say how wild would it be if like Jonas kidnapped baby Charlotte and hid her in time from Noah, you know?
Hmm. Well, I mean, it depends. I mean, it would have to be in a 33-year cycle. Well, yeah, that's a good point. So somewhere between, because young Noah looks about Jonas's age. We'll call him a teenager.
Yeah.
So somewhere between teenage Noah and regular Noah, that happened.
Hmm.
So I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how he would. I don't know how old he was when they had Charlotte, and I don't know how he would get there because it's not in the 33-year cycle
Yeah, yeah.
unless he uses this machine that Adam says they made themselves.
Hmm.
But I don't know. That was in the past. Technically, Jonas is going back to the future in
Hmm.
2019. So I don't know.
Dang, I really wish we had like a tally board or something because I've been waiting for us to say Back to the Future. Bing.
Dun, 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 dun. Oh, how's the song go?
No, you had it.
Really?
You had it right.
I
Yeah.
lost it. Oh well.
Oh, well.
My throat's also hurting, so I think that's why I lost it.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. For
Just,
sure.
sore throat and lack of confidence in any personality.
Jeez, wow.
That's what happens when I feel sick.
Wow.
Well, I
You're
guess
more
I'm just in a dark place.
Wow.
I'm sorry. I should have said that more like Eeyore.
Ooh. Oh, okay.
Sorry, Pooh.
I'm not gonna boot.
I'm just in a dark place.
I'm not gonna boot Eeyore. He's going through stuff.
He's yeah. Okay, so predictions.
Huh, okay. I had this idea the second Jonas like put on the suit
Mhm.
to go back to the future. Ding.
Dun, dun,
I love that. Uh
dun. Bum, bum, bum.
man, how different America time travel shows and
Right?
movies are to like German time travel
Yeah, we're
shows.
gonna go back in time, beat up bullies,
Get hit on by my mom
get hit on by my mom.
and hang out with this old guy.
Oh man.
Uh who like if you think about it, doesn't really age that much within like between the 80s and whenever Back to the Future oh, but yeah, I guess between the 80s and the 50s.
It was Back to the Future 50s.
Yeah, yeah. So like
Hmm.
technically Doc Brown doesn't age too badly for, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
good for him.
yeah. 33 years. Wow.
Whoa, what a twist.
Yeah. See, and this is gonna be interesting to see if Jonas can accomplish his task because we mentioned this too. We don't know the rules. We don't really know the rules of time travel. We
Hmm.
kind of know how to do it, but we don't know like the implications. So, do you rewrite time if you change things, or Back to the Future style? Do you just start a new timeline?
Yeah, yeah.
Also, is it even possible to change things?
Okay, so that sorry, that's that before we went on our tangent, that's kind of what I was thinking. Like Jonas is gonna go try and convince his dad not to kill himself. How how crazy would it be and how crappy would it be if for some reason instead Jonas has to like convince his dad to do it?
Oh my god.
Like, and that's such a weird it's such a weird thing. And I know this is, you know, I'm not trying to be glib when I say that this is like a safe space for us to talk about these things, but it kind of is because, we're talking about media, we're talking about a show, we're talking
Yeah.
about fiction, but it just feels so strange that like so much of pretty much this entire show hinges on the fact that one way or another, Michael has to kill himself.
Okay. Yeah. I see what you're saying. I thought you were gonna go into like the after school special. You see, this is what happens when you take your own life.
No, I'm not gonna be a bully about that. I'm not. No, that's such a bad thing. That's such a bad. That's
Hey man, those were the
the
PSAs of ancient yore.
those yeah, and those are the same people that think you can cure depression by just telling a depressed person, "Hey, you should smile because there's somebody else in the world who has it worse than you.
I was
Like you
just
should
telling
be
you
happy. You don't have their problem."
I was just telling you about the overbearing mother sketch on SNL.
Yeah.
And they bring that up. Pedro Pascal plays the mom. He's like, "No, Mijo said he had depression one day, and I said no, do something else."
Wow. Yeah.
Oh
Yeah, because
man,
that's gonna work for sure.
jeez, man, Germans don't know how to have fun. What kind of time travel is this?
Man, so yeah, it makes me sad to think about, and it just yeah, so it's just I guess, Dark's just, true to form. It's a dark show,
It's a dark show.
We
Yeah,
did they never said this was gonna be fun.
yeah.
That's me coming in with my American ignorance and assuming I'm gonna have fun with this German sci-fi
My
show.
big
Like,
brother
yeah,
recommended this show.
you recommended it, so
I'm gonna check it out. Have some
it's got to
fun.
be good. I felt the same way with Game of Thrones. When we first started, we
Yeah.
watched over a Christmas break. We watched together the first episode of Game of Thrones, and I don't know if people care, but spoiler alert, for Game of Thrones, first episode ends where they push a kid out of a window,
Mhm.
and I I was just like, man, I'm not gonna watch this. I'm just not gonna watch this. This is not what I want. This is not what I need. And you know what? If I could go back in time, I would. That's the thing I would fix.
You wouldn't watch it.
I wouldn't watch it. I'd convince him like, Sam, you're not gonna like where it goes. You're not gonna
Yeah.
like the person you become out of this.
And you know
Nothing
what,
good comes from this.
Sam? You've read more of the books than I have. You've read all of the books.
That's true.
Yeah.
And some of the supplemental books too.
Yeah.
So
Do it to
There you go.
yourself.
Wait,
I'm
you
sorry I was your enabler.
wow, you did this to me.
Mm-hmm.
All this money, all that time
All that
wasted,
time
all that
wasted.
wasted
Oh
poring over
man.
the ancient tomes and
Oh
texts, learning about
jeez.
Balon, the joyous. I don't freaking remember.
Mm-hmm.
Look at what you've done to me.
Mm-hmm.
Just also I can watch the prequel series House of Dragons and be like,
Oh
that's not
yeah, I
how it
haven't watched that
happened.
either.
That's
Oh
not
no.
how it
That's
happened.
not how it happened in the
They sped
books.
up the timeline on this.
Uh-huh. Oh man.
It's like I get it to make it more concise and cinematic because
Mm-hmm.
nobody wants to watch centuries worth of a thing, but
Uh,
that's not how it's done.
well, I'm sure next time we'll have it all figured out.
For sure.
Because next week we're talking about Dark Season 2, Episode 6. An endless cycle.
Dang it.
Let's see. Let me see what
I
this says
hate
here.
this.
Jonas travels back in time to 2019 and he has a plan.
Ugh. I don't like that.
That's about it. There's
Wow.
more. There's more, but I'm not going to mention it. So,
You
yeah.
know, as much as I don't like the movie, at least with X-Men Days of Futures Past, there's a thing we can fight. You know,
Right. Yeah.
they're big old sentinels that we can fight. We can go back in time and we can try and make amends with our past selves and we can
Mm-hmm.
try and move forward. We can try and do better. And then we can branch off and essentially erase the evil apocalypse timeline and go back to a time where all of our friends were alive and happy.
Yeah.
At least until, the most powerful among us has an aneurysm that kills mostly everyone he
Do you
loves.
think that's the same universe?
If it's not, it doesn't make any sense.
That's true. I think Deadpool will settle that.
Yeah, probably. Oh, I
Yeah.
did. I did see a thing. I did see a thing. Somebody on Twitter. So Kevin Feige just recently accepted. I think it was a Saturn Award,
Mm-hmm.
or I think it was Guardians. I think they gave Guardians the best sci-fi movie or
Mm-hmm.
best genre movie for the Saturn Awards, something like
Mm-hmm.
that. But Kevin Feige was at the awards, and all that. Well, you know how he has his signature hat for every project that they're working on.
Mm-hmm.
The hat that he had on this time had was split. The symbol was split in half. Half of it was Deadpool, and the other half was Wolverine.
Nice.
And on the back, you couldn't make it out, but there was the title of the movie on the back of the cap,
Mm-hmm.
and it looked pretty long. And so this one guy on Twitter retweeted a thing that he posted last year, and he was like, "Y'all cooked me for this, but I swear to God, I mean, I'm gonna be so justified if it turns out to be the title." And he predicted that the title for the new Deadpool would be Deadpool kills the Marvel Universe. Which wouldn't be like a straight adaptation, but it
Yeah.
kind of makes me think, especially now that they've opened up the concept of multiverse, and
Mm-hmm.
now already I feel like we're already a little bit tired of it. But
Yeah.
I think a way to make it a little bit more refreshing in a way
Mm-hmm.
would be to have Deadpool's whole shtick, this new movie is killing everybody from the Fox movies.
Oh man. See, I just don't want to see Professor X go out like that again.
Me and see that's my point. I think he's already dead. Like just leave him dead. Like I don't
Right.
like yeah.
So I did read somewhere, I don't know if it was confirmed or whatever, but they said that the Deadpool from the comic Deadpool Kills the Marvels universe is gonna show up. So Deadpool who's already done it. I was like, oh, interesting.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, maybe he's his own bad guy.
Whoa. Deadpool v Deadpool. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
honestly, I feel like that's probably the best thing to do.
Yeah, we already know they're bringing in Dogpool.
Oh, we do?
Yeah, I thought they confirmed that.
I Dude,
There's
I
so many
haven't
things that
seen
have,
anything.
yeah, been quote unquote confirmed, and it's just like I don't know what's real or not.
And
I'm just disappointed that we have no proof or rumors yet of them bringing in Jeff.
the Lion Shark?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Jeff the Land Shark,
same here.
because he was like Deadpool's pet, right? He was like his friend, and now he's off doing his own thing with the Young Avengers.
Yeah, yeah.
I have the comic here somewhere. Oh, hey, it's right here.
Hey.
It's the Jeff verse. And I love how his comics is just called It's Jeff.
It's Jeff. Yeah.
Yeah. I love it. Guys, look up It's Jeff, Marvel Universe. You're going to fall in love instantly.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, man. Well, we've already gone on long
Put,
enough.
put Jeff in dark.
Put Jeff in dark.
He'll make everything better.
Yeah, he would have ate Helgi.
Yeah.
Um, I was thinking about Helgi the other night.
Wow.
I'm like, I wonder who's Peter's mom.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, shoot. I was thinking that too. Uh Dang it, because Noah mentioned something, right? He dang it. No, I don't remember. But I was thinking, I was like, wait a second. Noah is okay. I think that was the thing. Like Noah is Charlotte's father. We already know that Peter is Helgi's son.
Mm-hmm.
How twisted and messed up would it be if Charlotte was also like same mother of Helgi, but different dad? Because we
Oh,
have see, here's the thing. We haven't met too many people in the 50s who are
wait.
ladies or
So,
who are people who can give birth to a child.
but Noah's her dad.
Yeah,
So you saying Noah's the dad and Helgi's mom is her mom?
potentially.
Oh,
That's what I
I'm
said.
putting that on your prediction.
Same mom, different dad. Which would mean that Peter and Charlotte would be technically related.
Yeah, she'd be sisters with Helgi,
Yeah, yeah.
and that would make her
That would
Peter's
make
aunt.
Peter's aunt.
Hey, man, you know what? That's not. We've already seen Jonas and Martha, so we're watching
What
their
is
sex dreams. So
every episode? We've started it 3 times.
yeah, so
Gosh,
I wouldn't put it past them.
that's
All
not
they have to
okay,
do is push a
though.
kid out the window. And that's where Sam draws the line.
Exactly. All they have to do is go into the bunker where Yorick left Helgi and
Yeah.
just finish the job.
Yeah.
Here you go,
Yeah.
Jeff. Here you go. Even better, we're just gonna fill up the bunker. We're just gonna fill it with cement. Nothing happens.
What if we find out? What if this is the twist? We go through the show, the last 5 minutes of the series finale, we find out that everyone in the cast, all the characters, are actually blood related.
I wouldn't put it past
They're all the
this
children
show.
of Hannah.
Oh God.
Uh-huh.
Man. Yeah. How messed up of a conversation was that? Like,
Oh, yeah, we didn't even talk about that. Like her and Jonas, like he's just disappointed in his mom. He's
yeah.
like, I thought I could trust you. You know?
Mhm.
I'm like, did you even love dad? And she never answers him.
She never answers. And she said something like, did she say something like maybe I'm the problem
Yes, it's me. I'm
or
the problem with me. I don't know. I don't.
yeah. She said something, but like Jonas ends that conversation and goes up to bed by basically saying like maybe you always have been.
Mm,
Like,
yeah.
yeah, like holy crap. Like
Dude,
that's
and then we didn't talk about her and Katarina. Katarina showing up like, how do you
yeah.
do this? How do you get to the past? And she's like, he's a time machine, blah, blah, blah. Then Spectre shows up and it's like,
Mm-hmm.
oh my god. So, dude, like,
I like it's so strange to me because it's like it's almost like part like Hannah is almost in a different show. She's
yeah,
she's on the periphery of this time travel stuff and she's stuck in like her own dark drama.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know that she is the 100% like the perpetrator, the architect behind like I don't
right.
necessarily know what you want to call it, but like she's not innocent,
No,
you
I love that
know?
Katarina calls her out too. She's like, "You somehow managed to sleep with both my husband and my son.
Mm-hmm.
You always wanted what I had." I was like, "Oh man,
Oh man.
ah,
Twisted,
dude, it's so
twisted.
crazy." And the inspector's calling him out, like, "Why does everyone, everyone has secrets separate from each other, but they're all trying to keep it." And
Mm-hmm.
Hannah's like, "We all stick together." It's like, do you? I
I
guess you
mean,
have to if you're gonna sleep with each other. Oh, he has that line. What does he say? He's like, "Oh yes, I see. You all share everything, secrets and beds." I'm like, oh, that's a good one.
mm-hmm. The
Yeah,
gang.
yeah. Okay, man. There's so much we didn't talk about. Charlotte basically asks Egon to move in because she finds out that
Claudia.
he, or I'm sorry, Claudia asks Egon to move in
Mm-hmm.
because he dies essentially. I tried to check the date. Is
Tomorrow.
it's tomorrow, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So she's like, "We want you to move in tomorrow." So he's not in his apartment where they find his body. I was
Mm-hmm.
like, okay. I think that's the big stuff. That was all the important stuff we kind of handled.
Yeah.
I did like seeing Charlotte and Jonas talking, like getting them separate, and Charlotte saying like, "I think this all has to do with me." She's like, "I don't know who my family was and all this stuff," and that's how she
Mm-hmm.
explains, Tannhaus isn't really her grandfather, but he raised her.
Mm-hmm.
All that stuff. I'm like, oh man,
Everything will be revealed next week.
yeah, yeah. So, everyone, thanks for joining us for another exciting and uplifting episode of Dark. Let us know how you're liking the show. We're we're flying through, man. We're almost done with this season.
I know.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah. So let us know what you think about it. Hit us up. We're on Twitter. # Lost Legacies. We'll find it. We'll see it. Uh, Ask us some questions or something. Give us stuff to talk about,
Mm-hmm.
please. Um, I'm
I
on.
mean, I don't think we're wanting for things to talk about, but
I know. Yeah,
I guess in
exactly.
relation to the show, like if there's
Yeah,
anything you want us to talk about that we may
yeah,
have missed, please
yeah.
let us know.
Yeah. So I'm on Twitter at _Matt Jimenez and on Instagram at Holy Hand Grenade of Antioch.
And you can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Threads at Real. That's REEL Texas Weirdo.
Until next time, going dark.
Going dark.